It's a parade inside my city, yeah. It's a parade inside my city, yeah.
Our New York Knicks defeat the Memphis Grizzlies 133-120 and remain undefeated in the Mecca. The game was led by our captain Jalen Brunson with 32 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. Mikal Bridges contributed 22 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Cat keeps showing us why we love the Bodega Cat. He had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Our bench did their part again tonight with 42 points, led by Jordan Clarkson with 13 points, who is now the 10th All-Star bench scorer. For the first 3 quarters, the Grizzlies looked more like the Care Bears, but they put up a fight in the fourth, but the Knicks stood their ground and came out with the dub. I'm Miss Knicks, the first lady of Knicks and Ish, with the Knicks and Ish panel. Sit back, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already while we talk our Knicks and Ish. Let's go, Knicks. Hit that like, hit that.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back the melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Fras having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it.
When we stand on the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Yo. Who's doing Fras part?
I guess I'll do that. Welcome, everybody, to Knicks and Ish. I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Avenue. Always here, talking that ish with the first lady of Knicks and Ish, Mrs. Knicks. And, of course, not limited to, but always including the co-host, our favorite co-host, Kev Rodriguez. How you doing, brother?
Bang, 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 bang.
As always, be sure to hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button. Everything is always welcome. Sharing is always caring. And if you haven't already done so, please visit the Knicks and It's Shopify. Get yourself some merch. We got some new things coming in, down the pipe, and it should be interesting. Get yourself that Flamin' Brunson. Get yourself a Knicks and Ish hoodie. Get yourself some, a beanie. Get yourself a cup. And of course, there'll be more things down the line. But folks. Very first and foremost, happy Veterans Day. We honor and cherish each one of you who have served this great country,
including you.
Including you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We honor every soldier, every sailor, every Marine, every airman, every Coast Guard, and any person who had the balls enough to put on the uniform and set their lives in harm's way. We honor you. Thank you, and happy Veterans Day. I hope you all enjoyed your day and all the free stuff that comes with it. I know Applebee's does that, that free stuff over there. I've been privy to a couple of, free Applebee burgers, here and there. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about this game. The New York Knicks.
Let's show some love to the chat real quick.
Let's show some love. Yes, they did. Stephen Kennedy. Knicks went undefeated at home. Let's get it. Nobody should beat us.
Let's go. What up? What up, Steve? What up, Mike? What up, Frankie Fingers? What's goody?
Hoorah, Devil Dog. So thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks took care of business, defeating the Memphis Grizzlies 133-120. This game was pretty much over a long time before. I mean, the score doesn't. The final score doesn't actually reflect what happened. The Knicks was decimating the Memphis Grizzlies pretty much through 3 quarters. I mean, they had like 77 points by halftime.
Right.
The Knicks, they I'm sorry, but I think I mentioned this in the group chat, but Memphis looked gassed after the first quarter. They looked gassed, like they had nothing. They didn't have anything to do, with this game. Jalen Brunson, again, 32 points, almost had himself a triple double. Cat is the walking double machine. Had to get this up, and he didn't get into stupid fouls. He probably had a triple double, even a quadruple double if he played his cards right. But initial thoughts, Kev. We'll start with you. Your initial thoughts of tonight's victory.
Listen, we did what we were supposed to do. Beat teams that we supposed to beat. And Memphis is one of those teams that we definitely were supposed to beat. Last night we all picked, in the last episode, we all picked the Knicks to win this, and by a large margin, if I'm not mistaken, everybody picked for us to blow them niggas out. so it was from start to finish again a 40-point first quarter outing. They just took off on them. You know what I mean? I mean, the 3-point shooting was immaculate today. I know OG was the only one that was like 1 for 10. Everything he did was taking it to the basket, cutting to the basket, and stuff like that. So I mean, but other than that, the moving the ball. I think the first 3 quarters we played solid defense. We let it go in the fourth. But other than that, man, we did what we were supposed to do and left with a dub.
Mm-hmm. I will say this: cardiac Knicks was in full effect in the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna hold you because it just looked like we were gassed, like we didn't know what to do.
That fourth quarter was wild. I ain't gonna hold you.
We were making a lot of mistakes that we haven't been making. So I'm like, bro, what are we doing? I'm literally like screaming at the TV. Layla goes, Ma, you need to take your blood pressure medicine because what the hell? But no, other than the fourth quarter, the Knicks played great basketball, Knicks basketball. I mean, we ended with 35 assists, which should have been way more because we were like at 31 to end the third quarter. But y'all know my number, 25, and we win games, and that's exactly what we did. 44 team rebounds, and that's without Mitch. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was an even 44-44. Just imagine if Mitch was there. These type of games, and I've said it in previous shows, previous seasons, these type of games build character, right? Because let's be realistic, all games are not going to be blowout games, right? Like, we're not going to be whipping everybody's ass by 30 points the entire game. And so to have a team fight back the way the Grizzlies fought back today, although we are the better team, they are in disaster right now. Like, John Morant looks like he doesn't even want to be there anymore. But to have a team fight back and for us
That's because he doesn't.
He doesn't. Doesn't. But for us to keep our composure, you know what I mean? And do what needed to be done, I think they said it on the broadcast that I was watching, when all else fails, let JB take the ball to the basket and draw a foul. And that's exactly what he did. Down the stretch, whatever it takes to win. And, although I'm mad because we should have blown them out by 30 points, we take this as a learning lesson. And like I say in every show, I'll take a learning lesson with a W any night.
To the key statistic that I think that that really talks about how dominant the Knicks were is clearly this. That is a lot of points for any team to give up via turnovers.
Yep.
22 Memphis turnovers for 33 Knick points. The Knicks were feasting on Grizzly turnovers all night long. I mean, how often were you seeing Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby or Jordan Clarkson just feasting on steals and just crucial turnovers in the early onset that Memphis just didn't have an answer for them. And to talk about the pace, the Knicks have increased their pace so much. They're still not in the top 5 in the NBA, statistically speaking. But the fact of the matter is, when you have players that are usually set in the half court, all of a sudden get quicker, like Jalen Brunson, who is now getting down to the court quicker. Guys like Karl Anthony Townes, who's getting across half court a lot quicker. And I think the key thing that the Coach Brown system is saying is that the possession for the Knicks, their pace starts once the ball goes into the hoop for the other team. Once a make is done, that's when your clock starts. And the fact that they're getting on the they're cleaning up the glass still, so they're taking care of business without Mitchell Robinson, which I'm more than likely be playing tomorrow night against Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're still doing that, you're still emphasizing pace, getting across half court in under 21 seconds, and not allowing the defense to in any way, shape, or form get set for you. And even if you did, you now have 2 or 3 guys open, spot up, whether it's one guy down low or a guy in the corner. And if you want to continue to play that game and leaving OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, or Jalen Brunson open in the corner, or you're not checking Karl Anthony Townes as the trailer, what can I tell you?
No, I agree. I mean, the pace but it's crazy that you said we're not in the top 5 because I feel like we're going so freaking fast.
But let's talk about how Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson were combined 18 assists tonight. The vision between the both of them was crazy. Those passes from Josh Hart to Jalen Brunson was crazy at that time. And as the guy said, they can still do much better than what they're doing. You know what I mean? They just got to clean up the mistakes that they're making on the defensive end, especially on transition. We watch it all the time. And closing out games a little better, because we definitely almost let this one get away. I mean, I know they got cut it to 10, and then after that, the Knicks was like, wait a minute, we got to stop this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think a part of it was they sat Jalen Brunson down for an extended
a while.
period of time.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Hoping not to have to put him back in because we play Orlando tomorrow, right? But then as they kept dwindling down our lead, there was no other option. We had to put him back in. So that played a big part in it. But, offensively, they started clicking in the fourth quarter. They started shooting threes like we were doing all game.
Yeah.
And then we were making, stupid turnovers and stupid errors on our end. I think it was like offensive rebounds, and then they got a steal coming from out of bounds, and then we turned the ball over. So we made a lot of mental errors down the stretch, but they were shooting lights out in the fourth quarter. Luckily for us, they started making mental errors as well.
I think that this was a great learning experience, and like you said, we would always take these learning curves and experiences in the course of victories, especially in a situation where you have a high-powered offense. Usually, because Memphis is usually high-powered, they're usually up and down the court. For some reason, in that first quarter, they looked gassed. They just didn't have any consistency in terms of offense up and down the court, and they had no answer defensively. They didn't have an answer for Brunson. They didn't have an answer for Wingstop 2.0. They didn't have an answer for Brunson in any way, shape, or form for Karl Anthony Townes, and therefore, if you at least had some of that. I mean, because if you're looking at the box score for Memphis, nobody. I mean, they had pretty much well-balanced scoring: 19 from Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 from Wells, 16 from John Morant, even though he had a horrible shooting night, 4 for 14, from the floor, 2 for 6 from downtown. But they had decent bench scoring, which, kept them in the game, for the most part, and actually, really supplemented the fourth quarter. But any team in the NBA is not going to be able to compete with a high-powered offense like the New York Knicks that have that many offensive weapons up and down the roster. It's just not going to happen. So maybe they'll learn from that, because we do play them again. This time it will be in Memphis. But when you look at this game, we're 10 games in. I want people in the chats, go into the chat right now. Start giving us your input, because I'm going to ask this question and I want your answer. 10 games in, 8th of the season completed. What is your grade for individual players? For the captain, for Bodega Cat, for OG, for Mikal, for all those guys. I want to hear some grades. And what would you like to see more from? Who is a disappointment thus far? I want to see that in the chats. If you hit a super chat, you're going to get highlighted immediately. No question. But I want to hear some grades. But let's start off with Mrs. Knicks. Give us a grade for the captain.
The captain gets an A in my book. There's nothing he can do wrong, no. I would say that. But no, he really gets an A. And the reason I give him an A is because all offseason we talked about him taking his game to another level. And I think that other level is the assists that we're seeing thus far this season. Including today, he had 10 assists. A lot of people like to say, he's small, he's not a pass first, he's not a point guard, he's more of a shooting guard, blah, blah, blah. And he's showing with the right pieces and the right game plan and the right floor spacing that he can be that point guard that everyone says he isn't. And so because he's up in his assists this season, he got an A for me.
I'm gonna have to agree with that, because we all knew the guy had the vision to pass the ball and make other guys better. But I think it was the system that he was in that allowed him to play the ISO ball. But in this system, it's a little different. He gets to, move the ball around, and the catch and shoot threes is which I think is something that he wanted to do. He's been able to do that as well. So we're starting to see something different in his game that I like, and that's gonna cause a lot of problems on defense for other teams to deal with. So I gotta give him an A.
I'm gonna have to give the captain an A minus. And is that
sorry,
he himself would probably admit that we could be better. I mean, you heard it all over the MSG. If you were watching it via a Madison Square Garden network, you heard it over and over again. We could be better. So I'm gonna say, be better. Show me you can be better. And since it worked last time with Bodega Cat and me calling him out, I'm calling the captain out. Be better. You if you think we can be better, show me that you can be better, because I really want to see that. I really want to see Jalen Brunson really ascend into that higher echelon of all-star and superstar status, because sometimes I feel like he gets disrespected. Like he's not right now the franchise player of the New York Knicks. Like he's not the face of the freaking city already. I need to see that being spread around throughout the entire league. And so I'm going to give the captain an A minus. Obviously, his game is impeccable. It's definitely what you want from your star point guard. It is exactly what you want. He's got crazy footwork and crazy explosive speed, and he finishes at the rim, and he doesn't always settle for the shot. That's what I want from a player. Obviously, defensively, we already know what lapses he has. It's not because of effort. It's obviously because of size mismatches and things of that sort. And sometimes skill players are just that good. But A- for the captain. Moving along. Bodega Cat. Kev, I'm going to start with you this time.
All right, I'm gonna give Cat a B plus, and the only reason why I'm giving him a B plus is because of the foul issues that he keeps having. I think that's still gonna, if that's gonna continue to be a problem, it's gonna affect how long he's gonna be in the game, and we need him because he's a big part of our offense. So I think that I'm gonna need him to fix that up, and I feel like his defense, is in and out. It's not consistent enough for me. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a B plus.
Sis?
Yeah.
Um, and I think he's figured out where he fits in this offense. It's clear as day. Between him figuring it out and the offense being altered a little to feature him, because the last 4 games, he's been taking it into the paint and just beating his defenders down. And we need to see that all season. Foul trouble, he still makes stupid fouls. I think today he did well. In the fourth quarter, he had 2 fouls, but then he had 2. I don't want to say they were stupid fouls today. I feel like he was hustling, trying to, gain control of the game. But he does still make stupid fouls. So if he can cut down on that, he would get an A from me, because he is absolutely, if not the most important part of this team. The captain is the captain, but to have a big man that no one can guard is crucial for us to have him on the court. So he has to find a way to remain on the court out of foul trouble. Again, room for improvement, and we expect more.
I'm going to refrain from saying anything about that man, because if I keep on talking shit about this man, he's going to come look for me. He's going to hurt me.
I mean, if you talk shit, he might have a 100-point game.
Karl, I love you, man. I'm just trying to get the best out of you. I'm going to have to go with Kev on this one. It's a B plus, because, and it probably would have been a B minus had he not responded to the last time, I did call him out. The reality is that Karl's been a walking double-double, which is what you need from your big men. You need that, in an offense like that. And the fact is that he's been showing up. He's been playing the 4 and he's been playing the 5. He's taking on that challenge, and that's something that, I think that we all want from him. And I can't say how happy I am that he was able to shut me up from the other day, but at the same time, the stupid fouls, and when we could keep on saying it, it's stupid fouls, because you're getting called for them at a consistent rate. It's the same hook, it's the same additional bump, and I know that a lot of it is insinuated from contact that he's getting from his defender. But you kind of have to play a little bit smarter than that, and there seems to be a reason why there are players in this league that they can get physical and they don't get called for those. They get the calls in their favor as opposed to Karl. Karl, for some reason, and some of them they're just damn obvious. If he can be able to either mask them better or just limit the amount of costly fouls that end up being turnovers, I would feel a little bit better. In terms of his offensive game, he's opened up an additional dimension with this, with his willingness to post guys up, for his willingness to, to get into the paint and drive the lane. That's exactly the cat you want performing for you on a night in, night out. So it's a B plus for me. It almost would be an A minus. It's the same as the captain, but I think that Karl Anthony Townes has yet to tap into a piece of of what his talent can get him, I think that there's still something there. Like he hasn't tapped it yet, and he's gonna get there. And I know I should have done this a couple of times because they were borderline, but yeah. Yeah, B+ for me. Next on the.
I mean, going back to what you were saying about like his fouls, I don't think there's nothing he can do. I think that's just the curse of being a Knick. Because when you think about it, Melo had the same problem. Randall had the same problem. You know, they just are not going to get the calls to go in their favor, and they're going to get beat up by their defender every night, and it just be not called. It's just the curse of being a Knicks player, to be honest.
It could be. I can recall many a nights Patrick didn't get those calls.
Right.
Or Tyson Chandler ever get those calls, or David Lee get those calls.
I mean, think about the fact that Melo had to wear padding underneath his jersey because that's how much he was getting hit, and he wasn't getting calls.
Meanwhile, it is what it is.
Right.
He would have his headband over his eye and shit like that.
Right.
Still not get called fouled and none of that.
Facts.
I would remember Melo getting smacked in the face.
Crazy,
repeatedly,
man.
you know, like.
I mean, if you took a good look at Jalen today, someone absolutely elbowed him because his eye was black and blue.
Yeah.
No, I think that was another game.
Oh, okay.
I felt like he started the game. Today. Oh, I felt like he started the game off like that. But you could be right. I don't know.
I mean, either way, I don't remember a call happening with him getting his eye blackened.
Right.
Regardless of what game it was.
Right. I'm moving along. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, please do us a solid. Hit that like, hit that comment, hit that subscribe button. Sharing is always caring. Be sure that if you like the comment, you like the content, let us know. Sharing is always caring. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 700 and something right now. I'm not even sure what it is, but I know the number keeps on growing. We do appreciate you. We thank you so very much for your support. But please continue to do so by sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting, and of course, if you want your comment to be highlighted and addressed by the Knicks in this panel, be sure to hit the super chat. It's right there. Moving along on the grades here after 10 games. Let's go with OG Anunoby. I think I'll start off with OG in this case. OG Anunoby is an A+ for me. And this kind of stems back from even last season. The fact is that OG Anunoby, when he signed that 5-year, $250 million extension that he did, the one question that I think that most Knicks fans were saying is his availability. And thus far, he's been taking care of that. Offensive game, it is improved. He's been looking for his shot a whole lot more. He's not just being, solely a defensive stopper, which we already know that he's one half of Wingstop 2.0. But more importantly than that, he is holding himself accountable, and he's getting in front of his man. I like that.
We got the super chat.
Oh, we got a super. Just show him some love. Thank you so very much, Jack City. Appreciate the love. OG Anunoby is an A+ for me. I think that what he's been doing thus far after 10 games is perfect. There's not really much of a criticism I can add to that. Mrs. Knicks?
I'm going with an A as well. I think his game, well, one, we know what he does defensively. He is absolutely needed by our team defensively, and that's, it is what it is. I think offensively, what we're seeing from him this season is growth. He's not only standing behind the 3-point line at the wing. He's taking 3-point shots from all around behind the 3-point line. He's taking the ball to the basket more than I'm used to seeing. And I know we talk crap about his handle during the off season, but it's still sketchy. But I'm not so on the edge when he's handling the ball, which is a good thing. I mean, it's essential for this team success. And he's been able to remain healthy. And I think he got hurt, I forget season or earlier game where he caught a cramp, and I'm like, oh man, my heart stopped for a second. And to go onto X and hear them say, he was willing to go back into the game, where everyone else previously would say, he doesn't handle pain well, he's not going to play through pain. Shows his dedication to this team. So he gets an A from me.
It's kind of hard to even say anything bad about OG because on the court, off the court, the guy's a good guy, great teammate, solid. He's been playing solid so far. I mean, even though he had a bad shooting night today, he still found other ways to contribute. Defensively, I feel like his rebounding's picked up. I think he's done a better job of rebounding this year. So yeah, I give OG an A as well. I mean, this is a guy that we chose to be.
I think he froze.
Well, it is cold outside.
It is.
Yeah, he's coming back on. So moving along.
We got another super chat.
OG had a bad game, but still played better than Ja. Yeah, he did.
Ja played exactly like that man looks miserable out there with them. He looks so unhappy. I'm not going to be surprised if he going by the trade deadline, to be honest.
I'd be surprised if it even lasts that long. The way, the body language of him being there, and just the shit that you hear from like the Memphis chats and fans from them, in a way, you kind of feel bad for them when you see your superstar, your franchise guy, conduct himself this way. We're kind of blessed in a way that we didn't have that problem with Melo when Melo wanted out in New York. But it is what it is. I don't know. I heard that. I think somebody was saying, "Oh, he could probably go to Chicago or something like that." But
I mean, but he has to think like he doesn't have a clean slate. Like teams are not gonna want to deal with that nonsense, right? Like his attitude, all the gun stuff, all the nonsense. Like he hasn't learned his lesson, and that's the problem. I don't think Chicago would be smart. Like no. That's not a city to fuck with.
I don't think any major metropolitan area would be a good idea for someone like him.
Right.
So no New York, no Los Angeles, no Chicago, no Miami. Probably not the best ideas for him. But then again, I'm not a GM. I don't know how desperate I am. I mean, you saw what Dallas just did. They fired Nico Harrison, and 9 months after they trading Luka Doncic, and whatever, Dallas would be good for him. I don't know. It would only be good for him because the gun laws are a little bit easier there. I don't know. That's the only thing that I can see. But moving along, Mikal Bridges.
Let me start.
Yes, please.
He gets an A plus 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 plus.
Say it again.
He gets an A plus plus plus. That guy, his shot is falling like before he was a Knick, falling. The way he has held his teammates responsible for defense means so much to me as a fan, right? Because, we've had defensive coaches, we don't have a strong defensive team, although we have him and OG and Josh, but, we lack in certain positions defensively. And for him to call out guys and not really care says a whole lot for me. And I'm just so happy. One, he's a Knick. We say it all the time. Brooklyn can kick rocks with every one of them 5 fucking picks. But no, I'm super impressed with him. His movement offensively, his shot falling. We already know Mitty Mikal is untouchable. So yeah, he gets an A+++. And there was a play today that I need to show because, bro, whew, where's it at? Because I'm lost. Here we go. Hustling. That's what I love to see. And then he hustled back on the offense and got a layup. You know what I mean? Like, what more can you ask for? This is every night. He hasn't missed one game this season that he didn't play like this. You know what I mean? Never mind, he's the Iron Man of the league.
You can't teach hustle. You can't teach heart. You can't teach effort. That has to naturally come from you. And Mikal Bridges, thus far, through 10 games of this early season, early on in the third quarter, he could have given up there. He could have given up on any other one of those plays. Yet, Mikal Bridges hustles, and that's why I don't even think there's what's before A. There isn't anything. How many pluses can you give him? You can't. The reality is that Mikal Bridges, I'm going to highlight this comment, even though it's not a super chat, but yeah, most improved Knick. And you know what's the sad part about it is he didn't need much improvement.
Right.
He didn't need it. He didn't need to be, he didn't need to go for that award. He didn't really need to be, he didn't have to do what he's been doing, getting up and down the court and yelling and getting in guys' faces. But no, you can see it in his face. You can see it in his language, his body language. You can see it on every single thing he does. We've been saying this all season long, all throughout the offseason. He is going to benefit tremendously because of this system. Not only that, I said this, I think maybe a show or two ago, Mikal Bridges is going to be an all-star this year. I think that with absolute certainty, he's going to be an all-star with the kind of effort and the numbers he's putting up, not to mention the success of what the Knicks are doing. And it's a huge component of that is Mikal Bridges, his effort, his availability, and his talent. He's going to be an all-star. So it's like a triple, quadruple, quintuple. I don't even know what's after that. It's like give him like 30 pluses. And that's the grade. I mean, you can't even ask him for anything else other than can you shoot him from half court or something? I mean, that's like the only thing you can ask of him at this point.
And you know what I forgot to mention with him and OG? Last season we asked for them to help on the boards, help Josh rebound. And in Mitch's absence every other game, or all these games Mitch has missed, they have both put in that work on the boards. I think today Mikal had 7 rebounds, OG had 4. Right. When last season they were having 1 and 2 each. Big improvement.
But they scored a lot. I mean,
right.
Kev?
I mean, really, it's hard to even add to anything y'all said because y'all said a lot there. So, his shooting is better. He looks more comfortable in this system compared to last year. I think Mike Brown has given them a lot more freedom in the offense.
to like let him bring the ball bring the ball up the court more. And you're seeing what kind of player he's capable, when you let him run the offense. He's doing everything we asked of him on both ends of the court. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. We wanted him to be more aggressive, and that's exactly what he's doing. And yeah, I'll give him an A+. I mean, I can't take away nothing from him. I mean, his 3-point shooting from the sides is off the chain, bro.
Look what
Like
he got today.
in this year alone, we've seen a different kind of player compared to last year. I mean, I think all three of us couldn't agree on that. We wasn't seeing this Mikal last year. Not in the beginning of the season. I think under Thibodeau in that offense, he didn't look too comfortable and his shooting wasn't up to par. But this year, man, you seeing something different. And I think like I might have to agree with Av and him being an all-star this year because man, he's putting up all around numbers. I mean, he's filling up the stat sheet in almost every game. I think there was a game where he only had like 9 or 10 points, but he did everything else. It's like his shooting was off, but he did everything else. So
Yep.
I definitely got to give him an A+. This year he's definitely on another level. I even hear people comparing him every other game. Oh, I see a little bit of KD in this. I see a little bit of KD in that. And la de la de la, So
Katie wishes that people were
A plus for
comparing
me.
him. Katie wishes that people would compare themselves to Kevin Durant. I mean, please. Katie made of glass, man.
Yeah. Nah, but listen, man, like, and another thing, like you like Anna said earlier, holding players accountable. He's real vocal, like calling people out on the court, like, yo, you missed this spot, yo, why you did, and,
No.
and
When he called out OG, I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, he's calling everybody out, like even JB, the captain.
Mhm.
Like he get it too.
Take down names.
So this is what we expect him to be, man. This is what we paid him, and signed him for the long term. So I'm proud to see it.
Thanks.
So to say to round it out before we move on to the next player, 5 picks and $150 million over 5 years. Not too shabby, huh?
Ah, man, fuck them
Nope.
picks.
Every one of them.
We're still saying that.
Fuck them picks, man. Listen, right now, like so far he's worth every single thing. I mean, he started off slow last year, then he picked it up towards the end and went off in the playoffs, all the
Right.
way to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean? I think he did a lot. And now this year, this is just the beginning. This is just 10 games we're seeing. Imagine, bro, we still got mad games to go. This is just the beginning.
All right, moving along. This one's gonna be tough because we haven't seen a lot of him. Even though we're 10 games in, and I know that this is gonna be lopsided because I know that a lot of people within the fans are gonna say huge A or a huge like in between. So let's start off with Kev on this one. Mitchell Robinson. Which side of the pendulum are you going to go on with Mitch?
Mitch, that one's a hard one for me, man, because
that's why I threw it to you.
Yeah, this one. I gotta give him a B only because they're not playing, they playing him like every other game. We didn't see him for like I think the first 3 games of the season, right? I think it was 3 games we didn't see him.
3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, and then it's like since then it's been a game here, game there, game here. You know what I mean? So I have to give him a B. I mean, he does everything we need him to do. Defensive presence is ridiculous. I think if he would have played tonight, the game, Memphis would have scored way less. They wouldn't have scored 120 points if he was there. I guarantee that. Because his presence in the paint would have been crazy. None of that stuff they were doing would have happened. But I think they scored like 50 plus points in the paint. I forgot. I know it was 50 plus on us. I think that if Mitch was there, that wouldn't have happened. It was what?
50.
50. Okay, cool. I was right there then. But I gotta give him a B, man, because just because of playing him not being available. And I know it's probably not his fault. I think it's more the Knicks trying to like be careful and not so because of health issues. I get it, but that's only because of that.
This is Knicks.
I'm gonna go with the A. That's my boy, first of all. That's my boy. And the reason he's gonna get an A from me is because I'm not gonna hold him accountable for what the Knicks decided to do as an organization. So the Knicks are holding him to limited minutes and not playing every game to try and keep him healthy for the long run. And that's the right thing to do. That's the smart thing to do. But his impact on the game when he's on the floor speaks for itself, right? Like teams are having hella problems when he's on the court. And like every other player, we expected him to grow a little bit. And I think in the games we have seen him play this season, we have seen growth, right? Like, yes, he has his putbacks, but we're seeing putback layups. We're seeing him continue like to defend like he was when he was a rookie, defending players behind the paint, switching really well. So I don't think it's fair to hold, him accountable for the Knicks organization decisions to try and keep him healthy. Like you said, Kev, had he played today, we probably would have won by 40 or 50, to be honest, because they were playing like shit up until the fourth quarter when we kind of let our guard down a little bit. They wouldn't have had all those backdoor plays. None of that would have happened with Mitch on the court. So again, another important part of our team. So I'll give him an A- because he absolutely has room to improve.
But I say this, man, like when I hold him accountable, because you gotta keep yourself healthy, bro. And every season it's always a problem. You know what I mean? It's been like that. It's been like that. It's been like that for a long time already, bro. Every single year it's the same issue. You getting hurt. You getting hurt. You getting hurt. And don't get me wrong, that's my guy too. I love Mitch, but it is what it is. Like you always hurt, bro. You got to keep yourself healthy, and I think that's affected his playing.
No, for sure. I think big men have problems once their legs get hurt. It's hard for them to recover for whatever reason. What it happens with a lot of big men in the league. You look at Embiid, look at our Pat, right? Like once his knees gave in, there was really no reversing that.
Right.
And it's super unfortunate because this injury that has lingered on wasn't even his fault. He didn't get hurt himself, right? Like he got pulled down,
right,
and purposefully hurt.
Yeah.
And that's the sucky part. Like, it's not really his fault that he's hurt. And he's not even hurt right now. They're just being extra careful.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that big men tend to, once they have feet and leg injuries, can't fully recover from them.
Some of those were kind of like borderline pause, but I refrain from giving. I'm about to get a judge's ruling. We need Uncle Paulie in here to give us the ruling on some of these. I don't even know what to give Mitchell Robinson because availability is more than half of the job, and by that standard alone, he's a C plus, maybe C minus to a D.
But you leave it to him, he's available.
But when he's there, it's an A plus. It's so profound when he's there. If I do have a knock on Mitchell Robinson, is his lack of offensive efficiency in terms of, can you do what else can you do offensively? And I think I mentioned this quite frequently. Mitchell Robinson, will put up videos in the off season where he's working on his free throws, he's working on 3-pointers, he's working on jump shots, he's doing different things. But I have yet to see this during the game, and for them to go in and for them to count and for them to actually be implemented in the game. So some of it, I can't fault it on him, but some of it I can. And so I don't know what to really. It's like it's going to be an incomplete for me because we are grading the Knicks on 10 games in, but we haven't seen 10 games of Mitchell Robinson. So and I'm like everybody else. I love Mitch. I love the fact that we drafted him. I love the fact that he's been our longest tenured Knick. And I love the fact that that he's so much of a force in this league, not just on this team, but in this league, that the opposition has to prepare for him. He's so limited offensively, but you still got to prepare to deal with that man. 7 feet tall, 240, 250 pounds. A 7-foot wing, a 7'6" wingspan, and the guy is an offensive rebounding juggernaut. Great shot blocker, a presence down, in the paint, but his availability is his biggest hindrance. So that I know we have other grades to go through, but we also do have this question that I want to pose to you, the panel, and of course to everyone in the chat. Do you re-sign Mitchell Robinson now, or do you risk heading into the offseason with him being a free agent?
Sign him now. Absolutely sign him now. Like, hands down, can't tell me nothing, because the question then is, who do you bring in to replace that? You know what I mean? Like, you let him go into the offseason, teams are going to be throwing money at him regardless of his health issues. There are teams that will throw the bank at him. So you absolutely sign him now, keep our longest tenured Knick a Knick, because this is just the start of our run. And so we're going to need him. And I don't know another player in the NBA that we can then bring in to do what he does.
All right. But with that being said, Kev, I want you to also think about this as well. At what price? I think his max is 4 years at 160 or 170 million. Do you give him all of that, or do you as an organization put some kind of provision or consider holding back some because, like you said, there are going to be other teams that are going to be looking for a 7-foot, offensive rebounding machine. However, that's still an enormous investment that you're talking about. And you don't even know if he's going to be if he's going to be available all the time. I mean, he hasn't played 60 games in what, 5 years?
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm not. I love Mitch, right? And if we could sign him now during the season, it might be better. It might be we might get him for cheap. Like we might get a discount. Who knows, right? But if it's gonna be 4 years, $170, I think I trade him and see what we could get back in return. Because to be honest with you, like that's gonna put us over the
The second apron.
second apron, right? That's gonna put us over the second apron.
Hold on, because we do have his bird right.
No, we
Right.
do have it, right? But 4 years, 170. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Especially like Av said, you know what I mean. You haven't played 60 plus games in 3-4 years. You know what I mean. So if that's what the asking price is, I'm trading him at the deadline and seeing what we could get back. As much as I hate to say it, but I'm not willing to give somebody that's not going to be available 4 years, 170. That's something we just gave Mikal Bridges, who plays every day. He hasn't missed a game yet.
In 8 years.
In 8 years, he hasn't missed a game yet. And we just gave him what? What was his contract?
150.
4 or 5 years, what?
150.
150. And we supposed to give Mitchell Robinson 4 years, 170? Nah.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know
Nah.
that that's what he's asking
If that's the asking price, you trade him at the deadline, Leon. Pull the trigger.
That's the harsh reality that I don't even know what the answer to that question is.
I mean, we talking about a guy who can't shoot a lick of free throws. We can't shoot a lick of free throws, bro. 4 years, 170 to a guy who can't shoot a lick of free throws. When we in down in a close game and these teams start fouling him and he can't hit free throws, you not available. Don't get me wrong, you a defensive wizard, rebounding monster. But if you're not available and you can't hit free throws in crunch time, bro, I'm not paying you 4 years, 170.
I had to highlight that comment because, yes, Maddie, you're absolutely right. He played 72 games back in 21-22, 25-26. You're talking about a long time ago.
That's a lot of money, bro.
I'm sorry, but we have to say this again, and maybe we have to say this every single show. This is the season that me, Kev, Mrs. Knicks, Tea Time, Fras, and the majority of everyone here, this is the season we've been waiting our entire lives for. The chance to finally raise the Larry O'Brien Trophy, and in the off event that it does not happen, you're willing to sign, a center that Kev just alluded to is limited offensively, and as me and Mrs. Knicks also alluded to, has been lacking availability. 4 years up to 160, 170 something million dollars. I'm sure that Leon can finagle some kind of a deal, and maybe get a discount, but we also are very much aware that he can get a whole lot more. And so when it comes down to it, it really comes down to whether Mitchell Robinson is, if in his heart he is a Knick, or if he's a businessman, and he wants to take care of himself and his family. I can't fault him for either one. I'm just saying, if I'm the one signing the checks and I'm the one offering them to you, I'm torn between this one because I love Mitchell Robinson, but I don't know if I love him that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see as the season progresses if a deal is going to happen this season or not. I think if he goes into free agency, his good is gone. And I think the Knicks are smart enough that if they think that it's not going to happen closer to the trade deadline, they probably would pull a trigger. But hopefully they could figure something out. I mean, thus far, everyone has taken a little bit less, not a lot less, like JB, but a little bit less. And so, I'm going to say, like I say it for everybody, there's money to be made in New York outside of basketball.
Look at Josh.
If it's a money thing, then we'll start seeing his endorsements go up.
Listen, I pray to the basketball gods that that's not what he's asking for. Because listen, I love Mitchell Robinson.
I think so.
And I want him to be a Knick for life. I want him to retire a Knick. But if that's the asking price, I think that we should, and I think if we leave it in Leon's hands, I'm comfortable with that because pause. But if Leon rose so far he has not let us down. He hasn't. He's made the right moves. He's made the right trades. He's made the right signings. Except that 1 year with Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, but other than that, he's hit home runs. So, let's see what happens. We still got time.
Fortunately, we do for now. While we're on the topic of time, I know we're doing grades, but it would be un-Nick of us. I think that's the correct term. If we don't take a moment to honor and remember the life of Michael Ray Richardson, who sadly passed away at I think it was today he did. Michael Ray was the 4th overall pick in 1978 for the New York Knicks. He was a 4-time All-Star, and I'm going to read a quick eulogy. This was written by my good friend. I call him the Godfather, Christopher Miles. Ladies and gentlemen, all Knickerbocker family and friends, we must gather today in honor to the life and legacy of the legendary Sugar Man Michael Ray Richardson, a figure whose journey through basketball and beyond has left a profound imprint on the franchise we love so dearly. He hailed from Denver, Colorado, but he emerged from Manual High to the stage of collegiate basketball at the University of Montana. There, playing for the Grizzlies, he developed into one of the most dynamic guards in college basketball. He left Montana averaging 24.2 points per game as a senior, and still holds the records or shares the record for such a 40-point single point game, 18 field goals, and a single scoring record average mark. In 1978, with every Knick fan in the city waiting for them to select Reggie Theus, no one had ever heard of the Larry Bird guy who would jump 2 picks later. The Knicks selected Michael Ray instead. No one was happy, to say the least, but after a while, they started to consider him perhaps the next Walt Frazier. However, he made his mark in 1979 and 80, where he led the league in both assists and steals, a rare feat and the first Knick to ever do so. He also earned All-Star status that year, and his defensive acumen made him one of the most premier two-way guards of his era. Over his early years in New York, he averaged 14 to 17 points a game. He later played for Golden State and then the New Jersey Nets until he was banned by Commissioner David Stern and for repeated cocaine use. But Michael Ray Richardson, you are remembered not for your faults, but for the great contributions you had, to our organization, to our team, to our city. You are, without a doubt, a trailblazer, And our thoughts and condolences go to his spouse, his children and grandchildren, his friends and teammates. And may we carry forward the best of his essence, disciplined effort, giving back, perseverance, and the reminder that we all have the capacity to overcome. Rest in peace, Michael Sugar Ray Richardson.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Condolences to his family.
All right. We got more grades to talk about real quick because we haven't even touched the bench. But I don't know if we should move to the bench because Landry Shaman has actually started 3 games. So are we ranking him as a starter or a guy? But let's really quick.
Well, let's say this, right? As a starter, he hasn't played bad.
Okay.
I can't say, he hasn't played bad. So I mean, I think I could give him an A for what he's done so far in the first 10 games. I mean, defensively, he shows a lot of effort. I can't even be mad at what he does defensively. Shooting, we already know what he's capable of. And obviously what he's done so far as a starter, he hasn't he's played awesome. So I give him an A.
This is next.
I'll say a B in the B-ish area. There was a couple of games early on in the season where he just didn't shoot well. But we saw this last season as well, where he had a few games where he wasn't doing too well, and then it kind of picked up as the season went on. I think I'm impressed with his willingness to try and play defense. He's not a great defender, but he does hustle. He fights over picks. And so for the effort is the reason why I'll give him in the B's and not a C, because if he was a terrible defender, I'll be pretty upset. I think with him, the issue may be, he's getting a lot of minutes with the starters when he is starting, and then he gets pushed back to the bench and then have to learn, he got to learn to play with both sets of teams. So that can be, my bad, dang.
You're doing this. How am I not going to do this? That's like the kid 6'7".
Right. But he has room for improvement, of course, like all other players. But I'm really happy he's a Knick, for sure.
Landry Shamet, to me, I'm glad he's here. Obviously, we really wanted him to be a Knick and stay a Knick, considering that remember how the all season started? It was either going to be him or Malcolm Brogdon. I'm glad that he's getting the opportunity to start. I don't know, but I have an issue with his defensive efficiency, and it's starting to show. Like when he starts and Mitch doesn't. I mean, obviously you give up a lot of size there, and you give up a lot of defensive intensity and presence, but I don't know. Maybe if he was more productive offensively, that could be masked. If he was more efficient with his shot, it'd be masked. I'm kind of like in the B minus C plus kind of status, and I don't want to be, but if I'm looking at it from just the eye test, he's okay. I wish he was more. And especially if when you get those starter minutes, like for instance, when Deuce gets those starter minutes, Deuce shows up. if he were to replicate that in some way, shape, or form, then everything would be gravy. But unfortunately, it's not, because at the same time, it's still early in the season. So, B- for Landry Shamet at the moment. But I do definitely want to revisit this in 10 more games when we can really give a full assessment of the team, thus far.
Do you think it may be because Shamet is the type of 3-point shooter that kind of needs to be set more than like the 3-point shooter that runs around and can just
He's a spot
shoot
up
from
shooter.
anywhere?
Yeah, he's a spot up shooter as opposed to a catch and shoot shooter.
Right.
And it's not like he's not capable of doing it, because we've seen him do it. We saw it a lot in the Boston series last season, where he can be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. But I think that it has a little bit to do with it. It's unfortunate, because I love his his 3-point shot. I love it when again, like, that's the way, mechanically it looks flawless. But because he is more of a spot up as opposed to a catch and shoot, or a quick release kind of 3-point shooter, I would say that that could be a little bit of a hindrance. Moving along to the bench, first guy off the bench, you already know. We just mentioned his name, Big Deuce. I don't know. I know what Anna's. We're not even going to ask Anna. We already know her grade. We already know it. We know it. We know it. Mama
What?
Mama Nix is always gonna be about her kids.
I wasn't giving him an A.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
wasn't.
I ain't gonna lie though. I'm with Angel. I thought you was gonna say A too.
No, I would give him a straight B. I think
he's gonna be blowing.
He's still trying to figure his way with this team. There is a lot that
right now.
Huh?
He's gonna blow up your phone right now. Say, "Mom, what happened?" A B.
I feel like he can give us easily 10 to 12 points a game, and I think he's only done that once so far this season. I think he's trying to figure his way with that second unit, because it now has scorers like Jordan Clarkson, Shamet when he's playing with the bench and stuff like that. But I will say this, I do see improvement from him from last season as far as his ball handling, as far as him penetrating and getting into the paint. I like it. My bad. Pause. So I do like that, but still I feel like when he gets into the paint, he needs to drive. He needs to not try and pass it out. If you can break down your defender, go to the hole. And we've been saying that for, I don't know, 2 seasons now, Kev?
Yeah.
If he can do that, it will push him to an A, but he's absolutely capable of giving us at least 10 points a night.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think his shooting has improved 3-point wise, but I think this, like you said, he's still trying to find his way into the offense. Defensively, we already know what he's capable of. But I think it's the same thing Anna said, not taking it to the cup consistently, not being aggressive enough, not trusting in his ability and to take it to the cup, So yeah, I would have to say B2.
And then he's another one like Shamet that is getting playing time with the starters.
And the
not
bench.
necessarily starting, but he's getting some minutes with the starting lineup and
Yeah.
then playing with Clarkson and them on the bench.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he's comfortable with the starting lineup, right? Because he's played with them before. I think it's that second unit that may have him a little flustered, like, because realistically, Clarkson should be the main scorer of that second unit.
I kind of look at Deuce McBride as an A on the count that I'm loving what I'm seeing him defensively. Yes, offensively, his numbers have gone down. He's not looking for a shot. It doesn't look like it's fluid, and it doesn't look like it's consistent. Obviously, as everyone's alluded to, he is now playing with Jordan Clarkson. You have Josh Hart now in the second unit. You got Gershon Yabusele, who's still trying to figure himself out. So it does seem like Deuce is trying to get them involved more than he. And it's obviously to me looking like he's trying to be more of facilitating two guard, even though he's playing a lot like a point guard. But I think if he stays playing as a two guard, especially when when he's playing with Jalen, it works because he can then either be a point guard and then be a two guard at the same time, and it can be interchangeable no matter what. But when you pull Jalen out and he has to be somewhat of the primary ball handler in that situation, it becomes more of a responsibility of getting other people involved as opposed to getting himself, the rock and looking for a shot. And when you have a guy like Jordan Clarkson, who we're going to talk about in a second, who's he's got a green light at least in his head almost all the time. And let's be realistic. I think the what people have said about him is true. He is a chucker, and so if you think about the system that Mike Brown is trying to do, is you want to get yourself as much time on the shot clock, per possession to get a shot off, and you got a guy like Jordan Clarkson on the team that likes to shoot from any point of the court. In his mind, he's in scoring position on the bench. It kind of happens. So I think that once Clarkson starts to tone it down, I see that Deuce is going to, start to, his stock is going to rise. He's going to look for a shot more. But I'm not going to deny the fact that I have been noticing what he's been doing on the defensive end. So for me, he's getting an A. I recognize it. I recognize the hustle and the heart. I recognize how he's fighting over screens. I'm noticing that he's trying to keep his man in front of him at all times. So, and that kind of effort in New York, that speaks volumes. And so, not to say that no one else is doing it. I see them doing it too, but I see it more consistently coming out of Deuce McBride than just about any other Knick that's not named Jalen Brunson, who he's the only other person I can think of doing that. So we mentioned his name a few times. We said his name enough times. I think I think that's the rule. You say it 3 times, it appears. Kev, Jordan Clarkson.
When it comes to Jordan Clarkson, I'm gonna give him a B, right? I know he started off slow. He was trying to find his way. I understand and I get it. And now he's starting to look a little bit more comfortable but we already know what you're capable of doing, shooting wise, driving to the basket. Like we know that. We know you're capable of doing that, and we was excited, and we knew what we was gonna get when you got here, right? But I I need you to pass the ball more, man. I need you to get guys more involved. Try to make other guys better. Like that 1 or 2 assists every time you come off the floor. I need to see a little bit more than that. Um Everybody else is doing it. You see JB doing it. You see Mikal doing it. You see Josh doing it. You see Cat. You see OG Deuce. Everybody is making that extra pass, but you. Like I know you could get a bucket. I know you could drive to the basket. I know you could shoot the ball. I know all that. But I need to see you move the ball a little bit more, bro. Try to make other guys on the bench better. If you're gonna be playing with guys on the bench all the time, then I need you to try to make those guys better. Cause I know you could do it. But I don't know, for some reason he just be chucking shit. and it kind of drives me crazy. But I'm not mad at it. I understand it. But if I could get him to move the ball a little bit more, I would definitely give him an A.
I think I talked about it already. Jordan Clarkson is a chucker. We knew that. We knew that getting him. We were excited about it. I just need him to, be more consistent with it. So for right now, Jordan Clarkson gets a B minus, if not a C plus. The fact that it's turning around is the reason it's increasing. But aside from that, I think that he needs to push. He needs to. It has to have more fluidity, and it has to be a lot more efficient. It has to be, because sometimes he will take some crazy fast break, like it looks like he's finding a spot where there's two defenders for him to jump and then jump on top of him so he can chuck a three. And like, come on, you don't need to be doing that. When they go in, it's great. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's funny, but it's like, I want Jordan Clarkson to be more efficient with it, and also look a little awkward. They look like he's rushing every shot, and so if he can somehow slow it down and be more efficient, I have no problem giving him an A. Sis?
I think he started off super terrible. The first 2-3 games, and then he's kind of picked it up and found his way, and so I do like that. But I would like for him to be more of the point guard of that second unit and let Deuce be the shooting guard, because I think it will benefit both of them. Because like we say all the time, Deuce is absolutely a shooting guard, a little shooting guard. And we know Clarkson can facilitate the basketball. And so if he would not be the shooting guard and chuck up like y'all been saying and what we see every night, I think it would increase both of their numbers, to be honest. I think he can give us, like I said, Deuce can give us 10 a night. I think Clarkson is more than capable of about 14, 15 a night. If he takes smart shots, if he takes it to the hole, more than he does, more than he has done. I think he takes a lot of threes when he could break down defenders and go to the hole much easier. But I mean, at the end of the day, we know what we got, right? Like, we know what we signed. And I guess as long as he don't cost us games, I'm good with it. He'll get a B from me because he absolutely has room for improvement.
All right. Next up, the heart of the city, Mr. Taylor John himself.
My battery is about to die, y'all. My bad. So let me do real quick, so that way everybody else to spit their take. I'm gonna give Josh Hart an A. Josh Hart, that's my guy always. He's a spark plug in T Time's voice. He's a super team guy. Was a starter all year long last year, and then had to be moved to the bench. No complaints, no ifs, no whats, no buts. Sacrifice for the team every single time. Plays hurt all the time, and so far this year he started off slow, but I understood it. I understood why he started off slow. He was hurt. He didn't get to play in the preseason. And then obviously coming back from an injury, you gotta find your way, and he did that. We're starting to see the old Josh Hart of old, and so because of that, I mean, I'll give him an A. Guy's a solid defender. He could guard 1 through 4. the smallest guy, almost 6'4", grabbing. He's like Magneto with the rebounds. That's his name for me. And yeah, A+. But listen. Before y'all go, I'ma have to bounce because my battery's like really low right now. So I appreciate every single person that pulled up. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe, sharing is caring. Love to everybody. Av, Mrs. Knicks, I love y'all. Great talking Knick basketball with y'all. This was a great episode. Listen,
And
fuck
do it
them
again
picks.
tomorrow.
Right. Fuck them picks. Let's go Knicks. Good night, y'all. Blessings to everybody. Let's go Knicks.
Later, Kev.
Later.
We need to start coming up with these fuck them picks, belt the ass. What other things? Let's do this really quick. Josh Hart. This man does no wrong. Josh Hart really cannot do no wrong. Hey, easy. There's not much I can say about him. Josh Hart he's a jack of all trades. He's a master of some, but a master of pure heart. And he exemplifies it. I swear, this dude, the way he plays and the way he carries himself, you swear that this dude was from New York. Like he was from. That's what's crazy. He's not from here, but you would swear that he was. And when you have guys that come to your team, and they embody, the essence of the city, the way that they do, you know what I mean? It's just insane. So I don't think that man could ever do wrong in my eyes. I mean, unless he takes out a Yankee hat and pisses on it, which is kind of crazy considering that isn't like his grand uncle or his grandfather, Elston Howard, was the first African American Yankee to have his number retired. So I don't see how that's happening. I mean, if you do that to a Mets hat, I'm perfectly okay with that. But don't touch my teams and you're good. Yeah, A+ for Josh Hart. Mrs. Knicks.
I say over the last 5 games, an absolute A. The previous 5 games, I would have given him an incomplete because he wasn't playing. He didn't play every game, and a lot of them were slow games, but it looks like he found himself again. And I mean, like you said, and Kev said, he's literally the heart of this team. And it's just crazy that that's his last name. But, I said it plenty of times on this show, championships are won with players like Josh Hart, right? Like these role players that give it all they have on the court. Championships are won because of players like him. And so you absolutely have to have a Josh Hart on your team. So like I said, these last 5 games are A. I just want him to not hesitate when he has an open 3, right? Because teams are going to leave him open. He's the weakest shooter of the starting 5 other than Mitch, right? But on the perimeter, he would be considered the weakest shooter of them all. And so they will leave him open. Take it. I trust you with it. You prove to us in the playoffs that those will go in. Take it. And if he stops that hesitating, it would make my heart happy.
Well, I think he's been doing that. He hasn't been shying away from the shot. But I think that now that he's definitely become more of an efficient passer. That I mean, we played a couple of those clips a little while ago. He's finding JB, he's finding OG, he's finding Cat. He had 7 dimes today. I think that with the fact that he is still dealing with that back.
He had 8.
and yeah, so he's still dealing with that back issue. He's still dealing with that broken finger or broken nerves in his hand, and he's still not shying away from the shot. It's just it's a hit and miss. The fact that he's still trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of some, not none, some, because he's still the best 6'4" rebounding guard I know.
Absolutely.
He's still one of the best coast to coast guys there is, and he's still one of the probably most pestering defenders against big men, because you have a 6'4" Josh Hart defending guys that are 6'8", 6'9", 260 pounds, and he's going chest to chest with them, and he's still standing his ground. So that's why I always said I don't think there's anything that man can do for me to like look at him and like, nah, this dude deserves to be on this team.
Yeah.
We'll do one more because Mike Brown only really plays a 9-man rotation. Everybody else is kind of at an incomplete. But Gershon Yabusele, that look just wins it for me right there. With this,
he's getting a C- from me.
All right, explain.
I just expect more of him. I watched him in the Olympics. I watched some of his games in Philly. And offensively, he has more than what he has given to this team thus far in these 10 games. Granted, he's not playing a lot of minutes. I just feel like he looks disengaged. He looks confused, like he doesn't know what to do, and his default is to shoot the three instead of, bro, you have a big body, get in the paint and body these dudes. Like, what are we doing? Like, we've seen it in the Olympics, we've seen it in Philly. Why are you not using all those skills in a Knicks uniform? So he's getting that low grade with expectations that he improves, because we know he has it in him, right? Like, we were all happy when we signed him because we know what he can do. I need him to do it. Just go ahead and play your game. Because trust me, no team's bench 4 is going to be able to hold you. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guy. Like, you can, man, he should be the cat of that second unit. He should be doing what Cat is doing in that first unit. He should be doing that in that second unit.
Gershon Yabusele is getting a D for me. For everything that Mrs. Nick said, plus he looks lost.
For sure.
He does. He looks like all of a sudden, I mean, this is his 3rd NBA season, but he's been playing basketball for quite some time, with his time in France, college, and then now in the NBA. And I expect a whole lot more from him because, as Mrs. Nixon alluded to, he did play very well in Philly, given Philly was a bad team at the time with decimated by injuries to Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and so on and so forth. So he had opportunities, but now you're getting an opportunity to be on a championship contending team, and right now you're not even. You don't look like you're either you're engaged or you know what you're doing, and that's kind of sad because this system would actually work for you, because even though it's a fast-paced system, when it needs to be slowed down, that's when you can start posting guys up. You can start being a presence in the paint. You can start rebounding the ball. And I'm not talking about just 3 or 4 rebounds a night. I'm talking about you can actually start taking, getting some Josh. This is what's crazy. Get some Josh Hart numbers in terms of rebounding. Being a presence in the paint. Then we can worry about the 3-point shooting, because right now the 3-pointer, we know he can hit it, but for whatever reason, for some reason, they all look flat. They look discombobulated. They look like he's never done this before. And I'm just asking myself, like, dude, just play the game.
Right. So, like, what happens when you're a shooter and your shot isn't going through? You take it to the paint or you get to the line, see the ball go through the net, and then your shots will start going in, right? Like, and he just doesn't do that. Like, he just runs to the 3-point line and stays there.
I think I'm not gonna highlight this. I think you probably did, but we all thought that he would be better than Precious Achua, and he kind of is, because Precious Achua, although we loved him and he did contribute, he also disappeared. And Gershon Yabusele, if Precious disappeared, you have yet to show up, and so he gets an automatic D for me. And it's not looking good thus far. I need to see a little bit more. But the rest of the team, if we didn't mention them, because we haven't mentioned Tyler Kolek because he hasn't played enough. We haven't mentioned Pacome Dadier. He hasn't played enough. Kelvin McCullough Jr., I don't think he has played yet. Ariel Huckporty doesn't play enough. So it wouldn't be right to give them a grade, even though I would say I love the little bits of Tyler Kolek that I have seen, and I hope to see some more of it. So time will tell, but we will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, the New York Knicks will take on the Orlando Magic. It's kind of interesting because I think, Anna, you and I were talking about it. So we're talking about, countdown to get back, but we can't overlook these guys. Orlando's had our number for the last few years. How are you seeing tomorrow?
We're winning. We're winning. I said we're going undefeated at home in this homestand. We winning.
Hold on. I said that.
Oh yeah, you did. I said we was losing one, and we didn't lose that one. So we're going undefeated.
You thought we would lose to Minnesota, and we whipped their ass.
Right. So we definitely whipping Orlando's ass. No, I really hate that our starters had to play down to the last minute, because Orlando has had our number. And they're a good team, although they're not playing well. It would be that type of team not playing well, but still talented, to come into the Garden and try to show out. And so our guys better be ready. They better be ready. But yeah, we should win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be a good game, kind of like the Timberwolves game was a good game. Should be fun to watch, but we better handle business, because if we don't handle business, there's going to be repercussions on this show tomorrow.
Well, Orlando has had our number, and they've had our number here at home.
Mm-hmm.
It is a back-to-back, but there better not be no damn excuses. They are 5-6, but some of those games I have seen that they shouldn't have lost those. So I think that it should be an interesting game. We'll see how. I think you're right. The fact that our starters did have to play so many heavy minutes tonight puts us at a slight disadvantage, but I think we win tomorrow. I think that the fact that the New York Knicks are not the same New York Knicks that have been the New York Knicks of old, slow, very I say Knicks by 12. Knicks by 12. I'm not a parlay lord, so I'm not gonna say just take my parlay. No, I'm not doing that. But if you do that, at least let me
responsibly.
I don't want the responsibility or the money. I'm just saying, just let me know. You were right. I like to hear that sometimes. It's good for my ego. It's good for me. It lets me walk around my house and it's like, see, I was right. But we'll find out tomorrow night, 30 minutes after the final horn, when the New York Knicks take on the Orlando Magic. Kev already signed off, so for Kev Rodriguez and the First Lady, Mrs. Knicks, this is the infamous one, Knickerbocker Ave. We would like to say thank you so very much to everyone who showed up today. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Please visit the Knicks shop, Knicks and Ish Shopify. Get yourself some merch. And happy Veterans Day to all those who apply. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. Once again, I hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and we will see you tomorrow. So hopefully for tea time, for Fras Taz, for Kev Rodriguez, for Mrs. Knicks, I'm your boy. What's that one thing we got to do? What's that thing?
Hit that outro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it all from boom back to melody rap. Think I'll put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Fras having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it.